All right, hey guys, what's going on? It's that Home Theater Dude. Got a brand new episode for today. Today is finally the day. I finally got time to make this video happen. It's the Emotiva RMC-1 versus the Marantz 8805. Both of these are their company's respective flagship preamp processors. In one corner, you're going to have 16 channels, expandable up to 28 channels. And in the other corner, you're going to have fixed 13 channels and 2 subwoofers. So I guess a total of 15 total channels, or unless you want to do a 15.1, if you get an Aura 3D. But I mean, those are little details that can be addressed later. I really want to start this video, but I'm going to go ahead and start by sending it over to our sponsor, and I'll be right back. Now, I'm just playing. You guys know I'm not sponsored, but I want to talk about something serious real quick. Since the beginning of 2018, you guys have known me as That Home Theater Dude, but since the beginning of 2017, I started my journey to be a chiropractor. I'm still a student right now. I'm a chiropractic intern, and I'm working under the experience of Dr. David McAllister, DC, over at the Parker Wellness Clinic in Dallas. So if you guys are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and you guys are having any neck or back pain or know someone that is, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm going to leave my information down here and also in the description. Please don't put any patient information in the comments. That's not how this operates. But go ahead and open up that line of communication in the email, and then we'll go ahead and move forward from there. Really appreciate all the love and support, guys. It's been a lot of fun, and this is my passion, so I'm going to be doing both of these things moving forward. So I really appreciate all the love and support, and I'm going to go ahead and start this video. So let's talk about functionality. So whenever you get the Marantz 8805 set up after the initial setup, which is kind of a pain, but once you get that all done, it just works flawlessly. You press a button, it correlates to something that happens on the actual unit, and it cycles through the menus very smooth, flawlessly. It's a very user-friendly experience. Now, on the flip side of that, you have the Emotiva RMC-1. Sometimes whenever you're pressing a button, it takes a while for the actual processor to figure out what you're trying to do. It doesn't do it all the time, but it is kind of a little slower going experience, and it kind of creates a little hiccup along the way. So up front, on the Marantz 8805, you have your dials. The volume works flawlessly. The cycle through your HDMI inputs, that works flawlessly. And then on the Emotiva RMC-1, it basically has one dial to do all that stuff. It's the volume, it cycles through your HDMIs, and it cycles through your codecs. I think it's not a problem in hardware, but I think it's a problem going back to the software. So the menus are what's holding everything up from being 100% user-friendly and pristine. So I just wanted to go ahead and make note of that. So another thing I want to talk about is reputation. So the Marantz has been out for a long time, and everyone knows that if you buy a Denon Marantz product, it's going to be a really great product, it's just going to work. And I think Marantz suffers an even higher fate than the Denon does, because when you tell your friends that you have a Marantz, it's kind of like a status symbol, right? So that's just one thing I wanted to note. And then on the other hand, whenever you tell your friends that you have an Emotiva, preamp processor. It's kind of like it has a controversy like cloud around it. Whenever I actually had that conversation with the president of Emotiva over at Exponent this year, there was just a myriad of comments that were just negative. People talking about all kinds of stuff that they read, they don't have necessarily firsthand experience with. And this is the whole reason why I designed this channel and the reason why I voice it the way I do. There are people that make opinions out there, and some people just regurgitate those opinions and spit them back out. So the reason, my whole message behind this channel is that, you know, if you guys don't believe me, go ahead and test it out yourselves. And I don't understand why someone's going to crap on a product whenever they have no firsthand experience with it whatsoever. I mean, I understand that there is a certain experience that other people may have had, but you never hear about the great things that people have. You always hear about the negative things. It's kind of like a shark attack type of effect. So whenever I made that video just announcing all these different processors in the works and coming out, it was just ridiculous. So I wanted to go ahead and address that now. And I think having my hands on the Emotiva RMC-1, it's not as bad as everyone makes it out to be. So another thing with the Emotiva RMC-1 is that it's expandable, it's upgradable, it's, you know, you don't have to throw this thing out necessarily. So the reason why I'm saying that is it's expandable up to 28 channels. It comes standard with 16, which is more than what most people need in most people's spaces. And you can also update the HDMI boards. So whenever 8K comes out, you will be able to update to 8K, and if you want more channels, you can, you know, add more channels and different things like that. On the flip side of that, this isn't necessarily a huge problem. This is just the way things are done. Marantz has their 13.2 channel processor right now. So next year, they're probably going to come out with another one, right? So, I mean, it may be 13 channels again, or maybe even more. So it's just every single year these guys come out with a new product. Emotiva comes out with a product, they stand behind it, and you can upgrade it as the years go by. So as you know, years and your taste upgrade, you may be spending a couple $1,000s or several $1,000s over on this end on the Marantz side. Or if you want to go ahead and stick it out and, you know, deal with all the upgrades and whatnot with the Emotiva RMC-1, you pay your upgrade charge and then that's it. Another thing that's different in between these two is the Marantz 8805 has their Odyssey Platinum Suite, which I didn't necessarily like any of those EQs and functions that come with it. And I will come clean here. I have not used the Odyssey app, and a lot of people swear by it. It's a $20 app. You pay for it. You can download it on your smartphone, download it on your tablet, and then basically what you do is you set this thing up and you try to get the most linear type of response from your speakers in your room possible. Now, on the flip side of that, the Emotiva RMC-1 has Dirac Live. It's not available yet. It comes with the actual hardware, but whenever it gets live, it's going to actually be sent via a software update. And I'm saying that is because there's a lot more functionality over on this end, especially if you have a pro-level audio calibrator. Now, on the user end side of this, you may want to dive into it, you may not want to, but there's a lot more stuff that you can play with the Emotiva RMC-1 on the audio side. You get 11 band EQ per speaker, and that's at 16 speakers. So that's just infinite amount of adjustments that you can do. If you have a real-time analyzer, you can actually dial in everything perfect, have that perfect linear response. Takes a little more time, probably cost you a little more money out of pocket. This one's 20 bucks. This one's probably a couple $100 for professional audio calibration. And saying that, you can do Room EQ Wizard. This thing is fully capable with Room EQ Wizard via, you can just test things, you can change your expandabilities, your parameters, and then you can actually, if you want, you can upload a file onto this thing, and then it'll use that real world. So it's actually pretty cool. Another thing I want to talk about is I kind of touched on this in my Marantz review video, is that the Emotiva RMC-1, 16 channels, fully balanced, mono DACs, and the Marantz 8805, it's questionable if it's fully balanced or not. I haven't seen any literature where it really is, but I mean, I wanted you guys to, I wanted to see if anyone would notice whenever I made that video about that comment that I made, but no one really clapped back on it. So I'm going to go ahead and say it again here. And I'm going to be going to Rocky Mountain Audio Fest next week, and I'm going to be talking to Sound United. So hopefully I'll be able to get an answer for you guys, and then maybe I'll retract this statement, but stay tuned for that. Okay, so some of these things share the same fate. One of them is that they both get hot, right? The Emotiva RMC-1 has 0 amplifiers in there. It has no internal amplifiers. It has no internal massive heat sinks. And on the same token, the Marantz gets hot because it's a Marantz Denon, and they've just been known to get hot. So in the spirit of these reviews, I went ahead and mitigated that by buying an AC Infinity Aircom. And since I've actually included that thing in the rig, it's just worked flawlessly. I can't stress highly enough that, you know, it will save your bacon if you have a fan on your gear. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about price. So on the price aspect of it, there are a couple different things I want to talk about. Initial base price of the unit, Marantz 8805, it's $4,500 MSRP. I've seen the margin that the dealers sell it to you guys, and it's a pretty wide margin. So I'm saying that for a reason, is that whenever they have that wide of a margin, they can play with the amount of sales that they have to sell it to you guys so that they're still profitable. Now, on the flip side of that, the Emotiva RMC-1 is $5,000, and it's just the way it is. I don't think they have sales that often, but what I would do is I would recommend you guys go on their website, sign up for their newsletter, and if they do have an actual sale, you guys can scoop these things up for, you know, a discounted price. Another thing I'm going to say is that these trade shows, CEDIA, CES, Rocky Mountain Audio Fest, Expona, all these different things, so a lot of these companies go to. So, and a lot of the times they actually give you discount codes whenever you go there, and they're only available for that weekend only. So if you guys want an even higher discount on top of the stuff that you're already getting, that's another pro tip that I would recommend doing. And then another thing I want to talk about on price is that it doesn't stop at just buying the unit. So you've already spent around $5,000, right? You have to buy cables that go along with it. And cables is another thing that will, you know, it'll incite riots on how much, two-sided people are about it. Some people will have no problem spending thousands of dollars on cables. Some people can't fathom the idea of the snake oil of spending that much money on cables. So with the Marantz 8805, you get two options. You can do an unbalanced connection, which is the cheap, like, well, they don't have to be cheap, but like the traditional type of subwoofer cables and RCA cables, interconnect, things like that. It's an unbalanced cable. So you get that option, and you also get the option of doing balanced cables. So on the balanced outs, those balanced outs will go to your amplifier. From your amplifier, that's the opposite side of that will go to your actual speakers. So with the Emotiva RMC-1, it only has balanced outputs. So like I said, this thing is fully balanced from input to output, and it just sounds amazing. So with that one, I had to buy two 5-channel amplifiers to make this possible. I already had an Arkham P1000. It's a 7-channel amplifier. I basically have that running my heights. And if you guys want this thing, comment down below. I'm actually selling it. It's on eBay, but shameless plug. But I have my P1000 up there, so that means I have 7 channels there and then 10 channels down below for the horizontal, which I'm only using 9 of them. And the amplifiers, they're not cheap. So there's several different companies that you can go with. Rotel, Emotiva, Parasound, Outlaw Audio, all those different things. And amplifiers are something that lasts a long time. They're something that don't necessarily need to be upgraded as often. So it's more or less an investment. I've known people that have bought an amplifier and they've kept the same amplifier for 20 years. All right, real quick, guys, this is future me. I was editing the video. I noticed that I was building to something, but I never actually touched on it. So now the reason why I kept talking about price so much is that this is all that's available right now in the 13 to 16 channel offerings. Now, if you want to talk about later on, there are, you know, the mono prices coming out with their 16 channel offering. As far as I'm concerned, it's basically a repackaged datasat, and that one's 16 channels. It's not available now, but as I'm making this video right now, this is what's available. And the gap in between the two for the price is just astronomical. So we're talking about something that's MSRP $5,000, 16 channels expandable up to 28 channels. And then you're talking about something that's on the level of Trinov, and that's 32 channel processing, variable, however you want to do it, but that's in the $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 range. So now that's the reason why I wanted to talk about that so much, is because it's kind of a noble, like a pioneer type spirit that this is actually being offered now. But I think that since one company's done it on a mainstream platform, that I think all the rest of these companies are going to start doing it as well. So another thing I want to talk about real quick, there are some issues that I ran into with the RMC-1. A lot of those got ironed out basically with just using it. Man, I want to talk about that in my full RMC-1 review, not this video, but that one's going to be coming out very shortly. And I will talk about all those things that I had issues with and the things that we fixed, and that you guys will know how to iron out those problems as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to past me, or current me. I'm going to go back into the video. Some of this video is getting really long. I want to go ahead and say that the overall, what everything boils down to, everything I just said, it all boils down to which one gives you the better sound. And for me, I think the Emotiva RMC-1 had the best sound possible. I'm not saying that the Marantz sounded like a big bucket of crap. It didn't. It sounded great, but it didn't sound as great as the Emotiva RMC-1. And I think that a lot of that boils down to the DACs, since these use the same DACs, but these are mono DACs and fully balanced. The first demo I did in here was of the Marantz 8805. The second one was of the Emotiva RMC-1. And I went ahead and decibel matched these things. I made sure that the levels were good at the same volumes. And then before I even played the clip, I make sure that both of these were normalized to the same volume. So the speaker levels weren't changed. There's nothing done in post. I'm just giving you guys the most raw data that I can so that you guys can make the most well-informed decision. And if you guys agree with my recommendations, or if you guys have any controversy with that, go ahead and comment down below. I know this video is probably going to start some fires, but I really appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure you like, favorite, share, and subscribe. I'm going to go ahead and leave links to any of this stuff down in the description. And also, if you guys want links to any of this stuff, hit me down in the comments as well. Really appreciate you guys for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.
Он здесь! Он здесь! Happen like this. You ain't really wild, you a tourist. I be blacking out with the purist. You ain't really wild, you a tourist. I be blacking out.